Being here today. My name is Stephanie Smith. I'm the Director of Communications for Indiana-Michigan Power. And whether you are here today in person with us or you are watching virtually, because we know that there are lots of people here in the United States, in the Midwest, and even across the world who are very invested in what is happening on the rooftop of the Indiana-Michigan Power Center today with our birds. Thank you for joining us today. I want to give a special shout out to a few groups that are here today with us. Soarin Hawk Raptor Rehabilitation, Indiana Department of Natural Resources, also Fort Wayne Zoo, and especially their Teens for Nature program. If you participate in that program today, can you raise your hands? Thank you for being here today, because you also had a really important job by participating in that program. You helped choose the pool of names for our chick that is going to be banded and named today. And then our community got to vote on the names for both our boy name and our girl name. And so we're going to find out today if it is a boy or a girl and what the name of that chick is. So you had a really important job. So thanks for being here today and participating in that program. And so let's see. Right now, we have members of the DNR, Allison Gillette and Grace Lacure. They're going to go up onto the 26th floor, the top floor of this building, and eventually up onto the roof, and they're going to retrieve the chick. So pretty soon, you're going to see some agitated parents. And you may even hear them because every year, it's like they sense what is going to happen, and they get agitated before the event even starts. So you will see them on camera if you watch the screen. You may even be able to see them at the side window, swooping, really being very vocal about their displeasure about this process. But you will see Allison and Grace, and what they're going to do is they are going to remove the chick from the nest. And then while they're up there, they're also going to clean the nest out, because a lot of stuff accumulates in that nest during this process. A lot of feathers, a lot of leftover food, shall we say, a lot of scraps. We'll put it that way nicely. And so keep an eye out, and you can watch that process. Oh, there they are. They're waving. They're getting ready. Hey, Allison and Grace. Good luck. All right. So they are good to go, and so we can keep an eye out for them. So while they are doing that, I would like to introduce Haley LeVay. Haley is the conservation educator for the Fort Wayne Zoo, and she is also in charge of that really great program that we talked about with our Teens for Nature program at the zoo. So Haley is going to talk to us a little bit about conservation and why it's so important, because again, this is why we have that nest up on the roof of our building, because at one time the peregrine falcons were going to be extinct. And so we put the nest up there in partnership with the DNR and Soarin Hawk to help give these birds a chance and to not be extinct anymore. So Haley, why is conservation important for any species of animal?
Yeah, thank you so much for having us, first off. But yeah, conservation of any species, animal or plant, is extremely important, because without animals, without species, we would lose a lot, whether it's a very charismatic big species that we all know and love, or the teeniest, tiniest little insect that we may not know of. Everything contributes to our ecosystem or ecosystems around the world. So, a lot of animals and a lot of plants even, they are relied on by other animals. So we take part in conservation at the zoo. You can take part in conservation as citizens through citizen science projects or just in your own backyard. And you can help those ecosystems both here in Fort Wayne or in your own home, wherever that may be, and around the world. And that conservation that you are participating in helps those ecosystems be saved. So, those animals, whether it's one animal or many animals that they're relying on, they are important. Without a single species, an entire ecosystem can collapse, which we have seen happen time and time again. And scientists do their best to help those ecosystems stay as healthy as possible through conservation efforts, whether it's species survival plans that the AZA puts in place that our zoo participates in, or on the ground work that happens throughout the world. You know, conservation is insanely important. And, you know, this right here is great conservation work that we take part in here in Fort Wayne. It's amazing work.
Thank you. So how do you get teens involved in conservation, whether it is on a larger scope, on a global scope, with lions, sharks, giraffes, or even in their own backyard in their community?
Yeah, so teens specifically, through our Teens for Nature program, we have a bunch of different groups involved. So within the program, you can be part of our teen counselors, which help teach those next generation of, you know, conservationists with our Kids for Nature summer camp. So they are teaching about those animals that we have at our zoo, right? So they're teaching about the sharks and lions and everything that we have at our zoo, and teaching about the conservation that we have there. You can also be part of our zoo crew, which teaches our zoo guests about conservation, what we take part in, and they're also learning by taking or doing ethograms. They're learning about animal behavior and why that's important to learn. And they're sitting through different chats, different guest speakers that are either from our community, like our conservation partners, or they are learning about what an SSP is, a species survival plan, and why that's important. Conservation crew members, they help with citizen science, and that's more on that local side. So they help with eBird, which is about learning what birds are in the area. They also help with iNaturalist programs to teach about the plant life and wildlife that we find here in, you know, around the zoo and kind of around like our different centers near the zoo and the park next to the zoo. They also help with our horticulture team, learn about the plant life and why that's important to pollinators that, you know, migrate through or are near the zoo. So that's incredibly important to conservation work and learning what's in our own backyard. And then our teen zookeepers, they learn how to care for our animals at the zoo. And so that's not only learning about those big charismatic animals that are global, but it's learning how to, hey, this is how we care for those animals around the world. How do I translate that into caring for the animals here? And so that's just the teens. It expands into our Kids for Nature summer camp, like I mentioned, with the teen counselors, and it goes into the classrooms around our community when we go out and teach about, you know, animal adaptations or animal needs. Our conservation educators go and teach those, you know, up-and-coming conservationists about, hey, I'm bringing in a blue-tongued skink that lives in Australia, but we have plenty of lizards around here in Fort Wayne and the surrounding communities, and, you know, or I'm bringing in a corn snake, and we have similar snakes here, and it's very cool to see those little kids light up and love to learn about what we have here and what they can help take care of.
I'm going to pause you just
Absolutely.
right here because we're just getting ready to get to the nest. And for those of you who are watching, you already saw a couple of the parents take off, and one of them come back, and they are circling. You saw that our DNR specialists, they do have on the protective gear. They also have the umbrella, because again, our parents are aggressively protecting the nest and their chick, and so the umbrella is also something I've not seen used in past years. Maybe I've missed that, but they're wielding it pretty effectively, because we do know that in full flight, in full dive, the peregrine falcons can go up to 200 miles an hour. So, their talons are nothing to be messed with. So they are approaching the nest, and we'll just pause for a moment to watch what's happening. All right. Okay. So they've successfully retrieved the chick from the nest. So, Haley, my last question for you is, what does the zoo do to work with raptors in terms of conservation, like the peregrine falcons?
Yeah, so we do have a handful of raptors at our zoo. I think the most notable of them has to be Matilda, a red-tailed hawk. She is, or she was injured. I think someone found her with a broken wing. And she was actually taken to Soarin Hawk. I don't know if you guys recall, I'm sure you do, because she is a notable member of our community. But she has a really cool story that she was taken to Soarin Hawk and then deemed unreleasable due to her broken wing. And then we are now caring for her, and she is living like the best life. And she, like I said, is a notable member of our community. And some people do come to the zoo repeatedly and are like, we know Matilda because we come to the zoo and she is here, and oh, she's building a nest now, and which she currently is, and she's building a great nest. And she, you know, is just someone or an animal, you know, that is, you know, it's a story that people know and they come back to just visit. And that is what we do for all of our animals. We take great care of them. But with our raptor, Matilda, our hawk specifically, we really try to make that connection with guests, to try to tell her story and why it's so important to learn about animal rehabilitation and our raptors in the area locally, and learn about Matilda and create that special bond, that special connection, and have those guests, you know, come back and keep learning and hearing her story. It's really, really cool to see.
Thank you. Well, now we're going to transition over to our friends from Soarin Hawk Raptor Rehabilitation. I'd like to introduce Mary Coher. And Mary, we're getting ready to band our chick. And if you could explain to us, why is it important to band the falcon chicks?
Well, there's a lot of reasons that we ban the chicks. A lot of people find them. You can report the ban, and then they use that information like, how far did this bird come from? You know, where did the bird come from, start from? And now here it's halfway across the country. They can also check migration patterns from that banding information, and population studies and survival statistics. A lot of information you can gather from that process.
So you sort of mentioned that that we can track it.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously we've had success in tracking birds that were born in Fort Wayne.
Right.
So where are some of the places that we've tracked some
Well,
of those birds?
I first have to give a shout out to some people in Ohio, where Moxie came from, in Canton. Her name is Susan, and she told me about this bird cams around the world. So literally, this outfit has people all over the world looking at different birds: eagles, peregrines, owls. And she was the one that told me first that we found Flash, who was Moxie and Jamie's son from 2019, found him in South Bend. So then the next one came, and that was Carla from 2020 in Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. So from that information, then we were able to see what's going on. Now, last November, she alerted me that they had found Elaine, who is Flash's daughter, in Minnesota.
Oh, wow.
So she's now has hatched 4 eggs. Flash had 4 chicks that fledged, and unfortunately he died. Then Carla, now this makes 5 for her. They just banded her 3 yesterday. Then I've also found 3 others. The farthest was in Ontario, Canada. So, yeah. I got that information from the USGS website, the Bird Banding Lab. And if you find a bird, you can go to that site and you can enter the information they ask you and report this bird. And that's how you find out. So I've got the band numbers because there's some bands for some years for Moxie that I didn't have band numbers, so I got that information from them. Okay. And she was kind of surprised that she didn't have more information reported in on the rest of the birds. So she was going to be doing some more research on her end to see if we can't find some others.
Okay, great. Well, perfect timing, because now I'd like to introduce the DNR's Allison Gillette and Grace Lake here. We're now bringing in our chick, and they are actually going to go through the process of banding the chick. They're going to clean the chick, but they're going to walk us through the process and explain to us what they're doing and why. So ladies, I'll turn it over to you.
Sure, thank you. Thank you all for coming. This is so exciting. We have one very chunky baby. It's very, do you need me to talk in this?
Is one of you mic'd up?
Am I good? Okay, excellent, yes. So we got a pretty chunky baby, and that's because she basically raised one chick this year. She's had many in the past, many in a single brood in the past. So usually when you only have like one chick, you pretty much spoil them just like you would a child, and give them a lot of food. So this one's pretty darn big, and we'll see how we can determine sex, because it's kind of, usually females are the bigger ones, and we can compare between, if they have siblings, the ones that are typically smaller are the males, and then the one that is the bigger ones are the females. However, when you just got one, you have no one to compare them to, so we'll see what happens, and hope for the best that we can identify what sex this bird is. All I know is big, big bird, pudgy bird. But very well fed, very well defended. Mama was in the box. So we went up to the box, and we're like, where's she? And then all of a sudden we looked around the corner, and she's right there, as usual, defending her kid tooth and nail. So we'll take them out. Yes, so we have one federal band here. It's a silver band. It's a metal one. It's made of soft aluminum, and it's got a unique identifier on this band that's kind of akin to the social security number or unique ID for that bird. And it's through the bird banding lab that they take care of all and organize all those different numbers. So this ID is specifically unique to this bird. And we have another band, the color band, which is helpful because this band is kind of hard to read when you're far away from it. If you're looking at binoculars or something like that, it's pretty darn hard to read because there's no color printing. It's just etched onto this band. So this helps us identify with the color band the unique individual and what it's associated with, because these should not be duplicated either. And this allows you to actually read the band in the field. So if somebody has a spotting scope or sees it on the ledge of their building and is like, ooh, I got a banded bird, that's awesome, let me take a picture of it with my cell phone, they can do that and get a pretty good idea as to who this bird is and where this bird was originally banded, as well as maybe where it dispersed to. So we are going to put this one on the right leg and then this one on the left leg. And yeah, baby bird will match the parents pretty much, almost, I guess half blue this time. So they're going to will have jewelry all together. Oh. So that they calm down. When it's dark, they tend to go to sleep and just or at least calm down. So because this is a stressful situation overall for them, we want to keep them as calm as possible. So just like hooding them is good. She'll calm down for a while. Okay, so the right. So I'll do the right first. I'll do the color band first. Rivets to be able to rivets. Here's our rivet gun. And you'll hear a little bit of a kind of a loud noise, a popping noise, which is totally fine. It's just me sealing the rivet onto the band. So notice calmer. Once they get hooded, which is basically us putting a glove over them, they'll calm down a bit. So we want them to not be stressed. So that's the pop. We're just sealing the band. Thank you. Really well. And I always make sure when I put a band on a bird that I say up, down, and all around. Up, down, so the band is loose, and all around kind of spins. If it's too tight, you don't want it to be too tight because it will ultimately injure the bird if it's too tight. So we want it to be nice and loose and able to kind of like having a bracelet, I guess you could say, on your arm. So that's the safest way of putting a band on. So I'm going to now hand over this leg. Oh, no. And I'm going to hand you this leg. Good. Okay. And come in from this side. Good. I got it. And I like to keep these talons closed, kind of in a knuckle so that they don't scratch. This is our metal band, silver band on the right side. And this type of band is just like a little, it's sealed just with a little like extra layer of steel. There you go. That's a good thing. That means they're not stressing out as much. And we like them to be calm. And you guys are doing great as an audience because you guys are being quiet. It keeps a nice, safe, quiet space for them. Imagine being abducted by aliens. I think I would like a quiet space, just to calm down a little bit. So now I'm sealing it. I like using this. This is a nice tool. We just got a new tool. It's so exciting.
Do you want to explain the pin feathers?
Oh yeah, I will do that. Okay. And again, up, down, and all around. I'm looking for up, down, and all around. Spin it around. So good, good banded. And if you could see here, what I could do is I could prop them up. Okay. So I'm going to put, I'll get hold of this. Yep, good. I'm going to get hold of here.
He's going to be crazy in a
It's
second.
going to get a little loud. So it's here. Oh, no, there's the feathers here. It's here. These are the primaries here. And the secondaries here. Those are our flight feathers. I know, baby. And they come out of these little pins here, these straps. You can kind of still see it here. And those straps, all that like, they'll peel off, kind of like it's keratin, so it's just like your nails and your hair. They'll peel off and naturally just come off, and then the feathers will be fully formed when they come out, and that will allow them to fly. So. Little girl! We got a little girl. Yes. Sheila, you ready? So loud. Oh, I know. Let me know when. Let me know when.
That is some breath.
Yeah. And just watch the eyes. Yeah. Good job. Yeah. It's a girl.
Yes.
It's a girl. Yay, girl.
Okay, so you asked how long it would take them to fledge. So right now, this little guy is 26 days old. In about 2 additional weeks, they're gonna lose all of that white puffiness, and they're gonna start looking more falcon-like. So they have what we call, informally, bloomers, baby bloomers. The
I like to
legs
call
are
them
nice and puffy and fluffy. Eventually, they're gonna lose those, and they're gonna look a lot more falcon-like. In about 2 weeks, this bird will be almost unrecognizable. It's gonna start looking like this guy there in a second.
Excellent.
So, for those of you who didn't hear the gender announcement, we have a girl.
We got a girl.
And so before I announce the name of the chick, I again want to thank the Fort Wayne Zoo Teens for Nature students for helping us to compile the list of names that our community voted on. And the girl's name that got the most votes from our community was Fern.
Aw,
F-E-R-N,
that's really cute.
Fern. So
That's super cute.
welcome to our community, Fern.
Yay, Fern. Good job, Fern. Aw. In the green? Or the orange? Okay, excellent. Good job. It's beautiful. I love that name. Cute.
Is that her
And
name
if
that
our
she picked? Oh,
calculations are correct, this is chick number 75.
Yes.
75.
This is
For
our
AEP.
25th year anniversary for this box. So if you don't know, this is the big 25th year, which is really exciting.
Lily. Okay, and I would just like to acknowledge that the person who chose the name Fern is in the room with us today. And so Lily, congratulations on having your name chosen by the community. And I just have to ask, are you a Charlotte's Web fan?
Yes.
Is that where that came from, Charlotte's Web? No, you just like name Fern?
Yeah,
Okay,
perfect.
all right. All right. Well, so while we are walking Fern around the room, and as you're all taking your pictures of her adorableness, I do again want to thank
Very good.
everyone who came to join us in the room today, and for all of those who are watching us remotely. I also want to thank
She's just like,
all
"I
of our
can't do
partners
it.
in this
I'm
today and
so
our
stuffed."
panelists from Soarin
Please
Hawk
stop feeding me.
Raptor Rehabilitation, the Indiana Department
"My
of
girl."
Natural Resources, and also the Fort Wayne Zoo. Thank you for sharing your time and your expertise with our community as we work to keep the peregrine falcons
She's 14.
here and thriving in our community.
I think she was challenged this year.
Oh, yeah.
When I was seeing a March, I captured it. Just never seen
Oh, yeah.
And were there any other questions from the audience?
just terror.
Yeah, wow. Okay. That's how Kathy Q would market.
No other questions from the audience?
Yeah, I know.
Yes, we will return the falcon, the chick to the nest.
She had a good
And then I think that's when you guys will clean out the
Kathy
nest
did-
also, right?
She did great.
Clean out and clean the cameras.
Yeah, and clean the camera.
She's got to be up there on the top of the state.
And then how long will the chick remain in the nest?
Yes.
Because I know a lot of people tune in
Yes,
to
yeah.
watch
I
the
think
chick
she
in the
actually
nest
out,
through our Falcon
chicked,
cam.
so to
So how
speak.
long can they expect to see the chick in the
Kathy
nest?
Q, which is the one at Market Tower. That was a few years ago. She passed. So,
Okay, so 3 more weeks of seeing the baby in the
yeah,
nest.
it's like
No, you're fine.
74 chicks. That's a lot.
Well, but half of those weren't.
Were hers. Oh, okay,
So
gotcha.
Moxie's had 37.
Oh,
Fern
okay.
had 36.
Okay, gotcha.
Well,
Okay.
this is Moxie's.
Okay. All right. So that concludes our official program. Of course, you can stay and you'll watch as they do go back up to the nest and return it and clean it, but that concludes the official program. So thank you again for joining us, everyone.